Life often feels like a series of random moments, chance meetings, and missed connections. But beneath the surface of what seems like coincidence, there is often a higher plan at work, one designed by God Himself. Before you even realize it, God is preparing the way for you to meet your soulmate. It may feel like you're wandering, waiting, or even losing hope, but there's a divine orchestration unfolding behind the scenes. Many people search for love in the wrong places, expecting immediate answers and instant connections, but true soulful love, the kind that is meant for you, doesn't always arrive in the way you expect. Sometimes, God uses unique ways to guide you toward the person who will truly complement your soul. One of the most profound and often misunderstood ways God prepares you for your soulmate is through a season of isolation. This isn't just about being physically alone or not being in a relationship. It's about being intentionally separated from distractions, unhealthy attachments, and even sometimes from friends and familiar environments that no longer contribute to your growth. During this time, you may feel a deep sense of loneliness. You might find yourself questioning why people are drifting away, or why certain friendships suddenly end without explanation. Social invitations may reduce, calls may stop coming, and emotionally, you may feel like you're standing in a quiet desert, but this is not rejection from the world, it's a redirection from God. God removes noise so that He can finally get your attention. In this silence, you're invited to look inward, to reflect on who you really are beneath all the roles you've been playing. The season of isolation teaches you how to be whole within yourself before becoming one with someone else. It teaches you that your worth does not depend on validation from others. This is where God begins the work of healing the parts of you that are broken. Maybe you have patterns of self-sabotage in relationships. Maybe you're carrying abandonment wounds from childhood. Maybe you've been repeating toxic cycles without even realizing it. In isolation, God begins to gently but firmly reveal these things to you. You'll begin to notice personal growth in areas you didn't expect. Your emotional resilience increases. Your understanding of love deepens, not just romantic love, but self-love, divine love, and unconditional love for others. God may push you to confront your fears, your insecurities, and even your false beliefs about relationships. During this time, you may also feel a stronger pull towards spiritual practices. You may pray more often, meditate, read spiritual books, or spend more time in nature. God starts shifting your focus from external validation to internal peace. And while it may feel like nothing is happening on the surface, behind the scenes, God is aligning circumstances, changing hearts, and creating the perfect conditions for your soulmate to enter your life. The silence of isolation is not empty, it's full of divine preparation. This is a sacred pause before the beautiful chapter of love begins, a time where God lovingly molds you into the best version of yourself, ready to meet the person who's also being prepared for you in their own season of growth. One of the most challenging yet transformative ways God prepares you for your soulmate is by allowing you to experience relationships that are temporary but deeply impactful. These are not accidents. These people may come into your life for a season, but their purpose is far greater than the length of their stay. At first, these relationships may feel like love. They may come with excitement, passion, and a sense of possibility. You may find yourself investing emotionally, giving your time, energy, and heart to someone who seems like the one. But over time, cracks start to appear. The communication begins to break down, the respect begins to diminish, the emotional safety starts to disappear, and you're left confused, heartbroken, and wondering why God allowed this person to come into your life in the first place. What you don't realize in the moment is that God is using these relationships as mirrors and teachers. Each one reflects back to you something you need to learn about yourself. Perhaps one relationship teaches you about setting healthy boundaries. Maybe you allowed disrespect or emotional manipulation, and now you've learned the importance of standing up for your worth. Another relationship may teach you what true compatibility looks like. Maybe you were chasing after surface-level attraction, ignoring red flags, and now you realize that deep emotional and spiritual connection matters far more than physical chemistry. Some temporary relationships reveal your unhealed wounds. They expose where you still carry fear of abandonment, codependency, or unresolved childhood trauma. These people unknowingly trigger you, but in doing so, they reveal the very areas where healing is required. God uses these lessons to sharpen your discernment. Where you once ignored warning signs, now you see them clearly. Where you once settled for less, now you choose with wisdom. Where you once chased love out of fear of being alone, now you wait with peace, knowing that the right person won't require you to compromise your values or your emotional well-being. In hindsight, you will begin to see how every heartbreak, every disappointment, and every closed door was actually divine protection. It was God's way of making sure that when your soulmate does appear, you will not carry old wounds into that new connection. God allows these temporary relationships because He knows the version of you that will meet your soulmate needs to be stronger, wiser, and emotionally mature. These people, though not your forever person, were necessary chapters in your love story. They were catalysts for growth, pushing you toward becoming the best version of yourself, someone fully prepared to give and receive the kind of love God has always intended for you. One of the most beautiful and often overlooked ways God leads you toward your soulmate is by first aligning you with your life's true purpose. Before your love story begins, God wants you to discover who you are beyond relationships, beyond expectations, and beyond societal pressures. This alignment with your personal mission, your calling, and your spiritual growth is crucial because the love God intends for you is not just emotional, it's purposeful. You might notice that during certain seasons of your life, God redirects your path. Maybe you suddenly feel called to switch careers. Maybe you find yourself drawn to a cause, a project, or a passion that you had never considered before. Perhaps you feel an inner pull toward helping others, creating something meaningful, or stepping into leadership in your community. These shifts aren't random. They are signs that God is setting the foundation for something bigger. When you are aligned with your purpose, you're not just existing, you're thriving. You're waking up with a sense of direction. You're discovering your strengths, using your talents, and stepping into roles that stretch you beyond your comfort zone. This growth transforms you into the person God wants you to become, not just for yourself, but also for your future partner. Your soulmate isn't someone sent to fill your emptiness. They are sent to complement your purpose. Together, your missions will align in ways that multiply your impact on the world. This is why God often waits to introduce you to your soulmate until you've stepped into your divine assignment. Sometimes you may feel frustration, wondering why love is delayed, but in truth, God knows that two people operating outside of their purpose would only distract each other. Purpose alignment ensures that when you do meet, your relationship will enhance your growth, not hinder it. And here's something powerful. While you are walking in your purpose, your soulmate is also going through their own alignment process. God is working on them too, preparing them, molding them, and equipping them for the life they will share with you. You may not see it, but just as you are experiencing moments of self-discovery and spiritual awakening, so are they. This dual preparation means that when your paths finally cross, the connection will feel natural and divinely orchestrated. You'll both recognize that this meeting was not by chance. The timing will make sense. the journey you've both walked will have prepared you to appreciate and nurture the love that God has destined for you. Purpose alignment is about God making sure that two complete, mission-driven individuals come together, ready to walk hand in hand toward the destiny He has planned, not just for their relationship, but for their impact on the world. One of the most surprising and often mysterious ways God leads you to your soulmate is by positioning you in places and situations you would never expect. These moments might seem random or inconvenient at first, but they are part of a greater divine design that only becomes clear in hindsight. You may find yourself suddenly moving to a new city for work, relocating for school, or attending an event that wasn't even on your calendar until the last minute. Perhaps a friend invites you somewhere, and you almost decline because you're tired or busy, but something inside nudges you to go. These small decisions, which may seem unimportant at the time, often lead to life-changing encounters. God's guidance is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it comes through gentle redirections, a missed bus that forces you to walk a different route, a random conversation with a stranger, or an unexpected transfer to a new department at work. Each twist and turn has purpose. In these unlikely places, you're often stretched out of your comfort zone. You meet people from different backgrounds, engage in new activities, and experience environments that challenge your old ways of thinking. This is intentional. God knows that growth happens when you're uncomfortable, and growth is necessary before you meet the person He's chosen for you. Imagine this. What if your soulmate is sitting in a place you would have never gone on your own? What if they're attending a workshop, a conference, or a social gathering that you wouldn't normally consider? By shifting your environment, God is increasing the chances of your paths crossing. Sometimes the circumstances seem completely out of your control. You may experience delays, last-minute plan changes, or unexpected travel. While it may feel frustrating in the moment, these divine interruptions often position you exactly where you need to be. There's also a deeper reason behind these placements. God is not just trying to introduce you to your soulmate. He's also exposing you to new perspectives, new lessons, and new opportunities that will help you grow emotionally and spiritually. Being in unfamiliar surroundings forces you to rely on faith, to remain open, and to trust that something bigger is unfolding. You might meet your soulmate in a place where you least expect to find love: a bookstore, a coffee shop, a networking event, a family gathering, or even during a volunteer project. And when you look back, you'll realize that none of it was random. Every step, every detour, and every unexpected situation was a part of God's master plan to lead you to the person meant for you. So when life places you somewhere uncomfortable, unexpected, or inconvenient, remember this: God's placement is often preparation. What feels like a detour may actually be the most direct route to your divine connection. Before God allows you to step into a soulmate relationship, He often takes you through a necessary and transformative season of emotional healing. This process is not always easy, and in many cases it brings up feelings you've buried for years. But it is one of the most important phases of preparation, because God wants you to love from a place of wholeness, not from brokenness or emotional dependency. You may begin to notice unresolved wounds surfacing from your past, painful memories from childhood, emotional scars from failed relationships, betrayals, abandonment issues, and even feelings of rejection that you thought you had already dealt with may come flooding back. This is not to punish you. It's God's way of bringing these wounds to the surface so they can finally be healed once and for all. During this time, you may feel extremely vulnerable. Some days will feel emotionally heavy. You may cry without understanding why. You might feel triggered by situations that seem minor. But what's really happening is that God is clearing emotional blockages that, if left unhealed, could sabotage the beautiful relationship He has planned for you. God will lovingly expose the root causes of your pain. If you've developed trust issues from being lied to or abandoned, God will address those issues by teaching you about forgiveness, boundaries, and trust building. If you've struggled with low self-esteem or feelings of unworthiness, God will remind you of your true identity, how deeply loved, valued, and cherished you are in His eyes. You may also find yourself entering into periods of solitude where you're called to reflect, journal, pray, and engage in self-care. God will lead you to resources that promote healing, whether it's counseling, spiritual mentorship, supportive friends, or even books and sermons that speak directly to your heart's condition. As the healing process deepens, you'll notice changes in the way you think about love and relationships. The desperate need for validation will start to fade. The fear of abandonment will slowly be replaced with faith in God's timing and plan. Your heart will begin to soften, making space for the kind of healthy, balanced, and emotionally safe relationship that your soulmate will bring. You will begin to set healthier boundaries. You'll know how to communicate your needs without fear of rejection. You'll recognize the difference between emotional attachment and true love. This inner transformation ensures that when you do meet your soulmate, you won't carry old fears, anger, or unresolved pain into the relationship. God's goal during this season is to make sure that you're not looking for your soulmate to fix you or fill a void. Instead, you'll come into the relationship as a healed, whole individual, ready to love and be loved in a way that is mature, genuine, and deeply fulfilling. This emotional healing is not a delay, it's divine preparation. God knows that the foundation of any lasting relationship is emotional health. Without it, even the most destined love story can crumble. But with it, your connection with your soulmate can grow stronger, deeper, and more beautiful with time. One of the most beautiful and mysterious ways God leads you toward your soulmate is by awakening your spiritual sensitivity and placing divine signs and intuitions along your path. These signs are often subtle but deeply meaningful. They speak not to your logical mind, but to your spirit. You might find yourself experiencing moments of strong intuition, an unexplainable inner knowing that something or someone significant is about to enter your life. It could feel like a gentle tug at your heart, a sudden clarity about what you want in a partner, or even an overwhelming sense of peace when you think about the future. These feelings aren't random. They are God's way of communicating with you on a soul level. Sometimes these intuitions come in the form of repeated patterns or synchronicities. You may start seeing the same numbers repeatedly, like 11, 11, 222, or 555, known by many as angel numbers. Or you may keep hearing a particular song, seeing a certain name, or noticing recurring themes about love and divine connection in books, conversations, or sermons. These are all spiritual breadcrumbs that God places along your path to get your attention. Dreams are another powerful way God speaks. You might start having dreams about a certain type of person, or you may dream of meeting someone under specific circumstances that later begin to mirror real life. Even if you haven't met your soulmate yet, God often uses dreams to prepare your heart and awaken your spirit to the coming connection. Additionally, God may begin to give you sudden clarity on what kind of relationship you truly want. You may feel inspired to write down the qualities you're looking for in a partner or start praying more intentionally for God's will in your love life. This internal shift is evidence that God is getting you ready, lining your desires with His divine plan. Another way God communicates is through people around you. Sometimes you'll hear conversations that seem to answer questions you've been silently asking God, or a friend might say something that speaks directly to your situation, even though they have no idea what you're going through. These moments of confirmation are not accidental. They are divine signals pointing you toward what's ahead. It's important to remain spiritually sensitive during this time. Stay open. Pay attention to your feelings, your dreams, your environment, and the patterns that keep emerging in your life. Often, the signs won't make complete sense at first, but when the time is right, you'll look back and realize that God was guiding you all along, through every intuitive nudge, every dream, every repeated symbol, and every whisper to your heart. God's communication isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's as soft as a whisper in your soul, a peaceful reassurance during prayer, or a sudden burst of hope when you were beginning to feel discouraged. Trust that when the connection is divinely orchestrated, God will make sure you are both led toward each other in ways that transcend coincidence. These divine signs, intuitions, and spiritual nudges are part of God's preparation process, making sure your heart is alert, your spirit is receptive, and your faith remains strong as you move closer to meeting your soulmate. Perhaps one of the hardest things to understand and accept on the journey to meeting your soulmate is the concept of divine timing. In our human nature, we crave immediate answers and instant results. When we desire love and connection, it's natural to grow impatient, to wonder if God has forgotten about us, or worse, to feel like we're running out of time. But in reality, God's timing is never off. It's never late. It's always intentional, purposeful, and perfect, even when it doesn't match our personal expectations. Waiting for your soulmate often comes with emotional challenges. There are moments when doubt creeps in. You see others around you getting married, starting families, posting engagement pictures, and you wonder why it's not happening for you. Social pressure, loneliness, and fear of being alone can make the waiting season feel unbearable. But here's what's happening behind the scenes. God is orchestrating millions of details that you cannot see. He is working in the life of your soulmate, growing them, healing them, preparing them just as He is doing with you. Timing isn't just about the calendar, it's about readiness. Both of you need to be in the right emotional, spiritual, mental, and even physical place before your paths can cross in a meaningful and lasting way. Sometimes the delay is about protection. God may be shielding you from entering a relationship at a time when it would have ended in pain. Perhaps your soulmate is still working through personal challenges. Maybe you still need to heal from wounds you didn't even know existed. If God brought the two of you together too early, the relationship could struggle under the weight of unresolved issues from both sides. During this season of waiting, God often uses time as a tool for growth. He may use it to strengthen your faith, to teach you patience, or to help you build a deeper relationship with Him. This time is also when you learn to rely on God's promises more than your own plans. You discover that love rooted in divine timing is worth far more than love rushed out of desperation. There may be moments when doors you thought were open suddenly close. Relationships that seemed promising may fall apart. Opportunities to meet new people may dry up unexpectedly. This is not to discourage you, but to reroute you. Every closed door, every delay, and every moment of unanswered prayer is part of the grand design. God is positioning you, refining you, and ensuring that when you and your soulmate do meet, the foundation will be strong enough to sustain a lifetime of love. Divine timing also teaches you to value the relationship when it finally arrives. Because you've waited, because you've prayed, because you've grown through the loneliness, you'll never take that person for granted. You'll recognize them not just with your eyes, but with your spirit. There will be an inner knowing that this connection was worth every second of the wait. So when it feels like nothing is happening, trust that everything is happening. Behind the curtain of your life, God is moving pieces you can't see, setting divine appointments, and creating a perfect moment when two hearts, fully ready and fully prepared, will collide in a way that only God could have planned. So, if you find yourself in a season of waiting, wondering, questioning, or even doubting, take heart. Know that God is not ignoring your prayers. He's not overlooking your desires. Every delay has a purpose. Every lesson, every tear, every lonely night, and every moment of growth is part of His divine preparation for something beautiful. Your soulmate is not lost. They are being shaped, molded, and prepared, just like you. Trust that when the time is right, when your hearts are both ready, and when the alignment is perfect, God will orchestrate your meeting in a way that leaves no room for doubt. It won't feel forced. It won't feel confusing. It will feel like peace. It will feel like coming home to a love that was written for you long before you even knew it existed. So stay faithful, stay hopeful. Keep growing, keep trusting the process, because when God writes your love story, it's worth the wait.